Hey guys, so this week we're going to cut up 2002 Honda Accord, and so it's a four-door sedan. We're going to convert it to a truck. So let's show you what we did and how we did it. Hi, and welcome to Mike's Custom Garage. Hey guys, today is day one of the 2002 Honda Accord Ute build. So basically we're going to turn this into a truck by the end of this build. First thing we're going to do is take out the back glass, then take out the back seats, take out the headliner, take out door trim, the door glass, so that we can make cuts. So that'll be the first things we're gonna do. We're gonna get all that cut. Then we're gonna mark where we're gonna cut the roof, and we'll start. We gotta take the trim off. So there's a whole lot to take off. Get everything stripped, everything gutted out, and then we're gonna get to cutting. And we're gonna do this pretty much like about 5 hours worth of work a week, and see how far we can get. Now today, this one here might be just a little bit longer because we gotta get this glass out and get the interior out before I even make the cuts. But we're gonna start marking things up and get an idea where things are gonna get cut. And this project this summer is to get this one done. So let's get to it. There we have it, rear windows out, onto the interior. You're gonna hear a lot of noise in the background. The neighbors are cutting down trees. They're putting a new house in. So we're gonna have to deal with that today. But first things first, last night we took the window out. So no more back window, that's out of the way. Now it's a matter of getting the interior out. Now, in doing these builds, don't destroy anything. You don't know what you're going to want to use later. So to keep everything intact, we'll take the doors apart, get all of this stuff out of the doors. We'll take the seats out, take the rear package tray out. Gonna take all the interior of the trunk out. We'll probably leave the hinges on the trunk for now until I mark it again. I marked it last week at the car show that I first brought this to. I'll be there again this week. Hopefully the plan is to have all this cut before we go today and have this starting to look like a truck already. So I don't expect this to be that hard to build, but we're gonna get to it. So first thing we're gonna do, let's get this thing stripped out. I'm gonna save every nut, every bolt, every piece of everything, and we'll use all we can in putting it back together. Because we want to keep this thing looking as original as possible. So let's get this thing torn apart. This door's already been apart. The window don't work, button don't work, so wasn't worried about it. Wasn't worried about it. I know I was gonna take it all apart anyway. We get a box, put all this stuff in. Okay, so the window won't go down, so we're just gonna take it all apart and see what's up. The only thing we're keeping in here is the latch. And when I'm done with this, I'm gonna shut the door and weld it. And the latch will help keep things held together. One more right there hiding. I got a little bucket here. I'm keeping all the nuts and bolts in. Gotta find a way to get into that one. Got a Phillips head screw up here. Take the window seal out. the divider between the windows. The little windows out. Get the glass out of there. Taking a screwdriver, putting it underneath the molding and popping it up. Try not to break the molding. I may want to use pieces of it. Got little plastic clips. Sometimes you can get them off, sometimes they break. So far, these are coming off pretty good, though. I'm amazed. Car this old, I wouldn't expect it. Yeah, the first one and the last one broke, but the three middle ones stayed intact. That's good. Put this all in our box. Okay, we're going to take all this latch assembly apart, mostly because I got to get to the handle on the outside. That's got to come off. So we'll take all this off, get it out of here, and just the latch will come back in with a pull, maybe not even a pull rod, because I really won't need it after this. I'm going to weld the door shut, and that'll be it. Got some Phillips screws in here. If they don't want to turn, a little pressure on it, hit it with a hammer. And they're all loose now. Now, this will be going back in, minus the rods eventually. Okay, lock mechanism is intact with all the cable, everything is connected. Put it back in place. Well, this stuff just snaps together. It's really not that hard. Okay, that side's done. We're going to gather up our tools and get on the other side. Okay, so I still have access to the door through here, so it can close. But when we're done, we're going to weld this up and put a piece of metal in there. And I'll seal this off, and then we'll weld it here, and this will be the quarter panel. Behind that trim panel, there's a big old rot hole. So we're going to fix all of this. But the rest of the door ain't bad. It's weird. Wonder why it rotted there. But that's this side. So it's going to get cut right about here. So we'll just cut all this off later. And let's do this pretty much. We'll say I gotta take the wires are out of the door. They'll get fed back through this hole here. I'm gonna take this panel off. We'll take all the wires out. We won't cut nothing yet. We'll cut it later on. We'll figure out what we do and don't need. pretty much everything in here probably don't need to be used, but it'll all have to be cut off and kept so nothing shorts out. But that's the first door. The second door will be pretty much a repeat of the first. So let's get on the other side and let's do this again. Okay, we got the other side apart. Same as the first side, it was just a repeat, so we didn't bother showing it. But there it is. I still got to take this off, which is going to take me a second. Everything else is the same. The seat's out. As you can see, the mices were spending some time in here. Back seat had a bolt on the bottom that came out. Took the all the seat belts off, popped that out. This was just clipped in. As you can see, the mice always have a place to hang out. We're going to save the speakers, so we're going to pull them out. And we'll get all the seat belts out. And then we'll be back. So all the seat belts come out with a 14mm here and a 10mm on the front side of them. And all three are pretty much the same. So we're going to get these out. I've already unbolted them, so I just take those out and they're done. Next we'll get the speakers out. We'll save those because, whoops, I'm shut. We'll save the speakers. I want to put those in the bottoms of behind the doors, behind the seat, so we still have stereo. So let's get all these out and then we'll get onto the speakers. So we'll get all those out and then we'll get onto the speakers. Okay, so seat belts are out, speakers are out. There was some wiring in here that went over to a plug on the side here for the rear window defroster. Not going to need that. So everything in the back here inside is done. Next we need to do is clear out the trunk. So I'm going to open the trunk up and put all the tools back up here on the roof. So we'll open the trunk up. At least from here it's easy enough to pull a lever. And we'll clear all the junk out that's in here. A lot of this was in here before I bought the car. This is probably the only thing I've got in there. Just keeping things, nuts and bolts in order. So we're gonna clear this out. Take all the trim off the inside, take the jack out, and we'll come back once this is all emptied out. What we're gonna have to do is we're gonna take this wiring out of here and then not run it through and then reconnect everything so it's still intact. But we'll get to that after we get the trunk cleaned out. The interior is out, big pile of interior, spare tire, and what's in here? Lots of nuts, a mouse nest. We got the rubber gloves and a respirator. And now we're gonna clean up all of this stuff and get this stuff out of here. Get our first looks at what we've got in here. Like this structure here is all gonna get cut out. I'm gonna cut those braces off. Not sure we'll do all that today. We want to make sure this thing is drivable still. All the wiring's taken out of the trunk lid. We gotta cut that. But I also want to make sure that I can put the wiring back in because I still gotta drive this to the show each week. So I want to make sure I can still move things and do what needs to be done. We'll definitely have it cut today. Right now we're about 2.5 hours into it and it's pretty torn apart. So we gotta still take the headliner out and maybe the sunroof, not sure yet. We're gonna see how that operates and what It has an up and down, but it also has a back, and I've got to see how it operates, and if I can leave the sunroof in, great. If I can't, it's out of here. So we're gonna clean up this mess, and then we'll come back. Got the headliner out. Look at the size of that nest that was up there. Nasty. So the headliner's out. Unfortunately, sunroof's not gonna be any good. The control mechanism is way back here, and that's not going to be in the car anymore. So we're going to pull this headliner out, the sunroof out. Hopefully I can find something to fill that hole. If not, I'll just weld it up. But yeah, nothing to do. It's not going to work. So we'll take this out. And keep moving forward. We're into this now, about 3 hours. We've got the interior out, got the doors apart, both sides, got the package tray out, and the headliner and sunroof are out. The sunroof's not gonna work, so we'll see what we can do. If not, we'll just weld it back in. But so far, so good. Now it's time to clean up. I mean, look at the pile of nuts and bolts so far. That's in 3 hours. The trunk's all cleaned out. It's time to start marking this thing up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up everything and proceed to the next stage, which is cutting stuff. So let's clean up and then we'll get back to you. All right, so the first thing I do is putting a straight edge, using a level, make sure it's straight up and down. And it's making sure that got the seat all the way back to where I'm comfortable driving. I've got a gap, probably a ½ inch. Let's see, it gets right to here. That's about where the gap is. So that's behind the seat, and that's gonna give me my first marks of where I want to cut. Back of the door, it's 4½ inches to that mark. And for a reference point, the little circle, so I can get a better picture of it. There's a circle right there. That's at 5 inches, so it's just short of that. What I'm probably gonna do is go to that circle. Makes it a lot easier, because I know the factory made those even on both sides. Now I need to cut it, go across to the other side. And I'm gonna go right to this other circle. See, that's the front edge of the circle. I'll make sure the other side is also to the front edge. Oops, got to take this out. And we'll just double check our measurements here. I got, let's see, 3 9/16. So it ain't gotta be perfect. It's gotta be really close to be nice. 3 9/16. So we know that's straight. So there's our first cut. Okay, so we know where that's gonna be cut. Now let's look at the trunk lid. Now, I have a spoiler coming for it. It ain't here yet, so I'm gonna cut this a little long. I'd rather have a little extra on the spoiler, and then I always cut it back if I need to. I'm pretty sure this spoiler is for probably not more than 6 inches. But we're gonna give it 7, an extra inch just for. Okay, so now that it's all taped off, I'll show you what I've done. Now, you can see there's like a little up on the door. I'm gonna wanna cut that probably to here and here and retain that. I'm gonna move that forward up into here and try to retain this body line when I move this, which I plan on shifting forward. So hopefully that'll work. If not, we'll make it work. That's what we do. So it's cut here and we'll cut across the trunk. I gave plenty of extra room on the trunk. This will probably get cut further and down further once I have the spoiler and I know how much room I need. So there's no sense in cutting too much and have to put it back. So I'll cut a little less and I'll come back and cut it up more when I need to. Let's put some welds on this. I'm gonna weld this. I'm gonna weld the door. I'm gonna put a little weld on everything just so that it stays solid for today when I'm gonna drive it. So let me get the welder out here and get this thing cleaned up and we'll be right back. What I'll do before I do any cutting is tack weld the door and the trunk so they won't move. And they'll have a place to be. I'll also mark them to make sure things stay aligned. So across here, I'm going to mark there, same on the other side. Now when this is cut and this is flopping around later, when I take it back off to do some more work, I'll be able to know that that's where it belongs. And we'll do the same to make sure the doors don't move. Now everything is latched shut, so it should stay. Okay, so we're all ready to weld, so let's get welding. Okay, so we're tacked. That's just to hold it so it doesn't move. This is a little more structural. It'll keep the quarter in the door from flexing once I cut the rest of this off. So yeah, so we'll get the cutting wheel out and we'll start cutting this up. Okay, what I'm going to do now is clean up the edges so we can take it to the show tonight. So day one is over. 6.5 hours of work. And we have a ute. I taped up all the edges so I go to the show and when the wheel get cut. Okay, safety first. I got room for the spoiler still. But there you go. We're going to take it to the show with my Altima. So this should be fun. We're going to pack up. We're going to get out of here. And when you guys are from the show are watching, I'll see you at the show. So it's the end of another video. So thank you very much for watching. New and old subscribers, thank you very much. Hit that like, subscribe, notifications, leave a comment, and we'll catch you on the next one.